Hello everyone, welcome to my first board game review. And the board game that I'm going to be reviewing today is Legend of Zagor, the 3D fighting fantasy game with a computer voice. It's a very rare and obscure board game. It's really hard to find. I came across this at a flea market, and I took the chance and I bought it, and not knowing whether I'll have all the pieces in there. But luckily, all the pieces are in there except for the 10-sided die that you need for the game. But it's hardly a problem because you can always download a dice app and use that to play the game. Besides the die, everything else is still there. And I'm going to be doing a review of this game. And first, we're going to look at the cover, the box cover. The artwork on it is pretty sweet, in my opinion, and it reminds me of something Simon Bisley would do with the stark contrast in the colors, the way it's painted. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. You got a warrior and the monsters, and that's Zagor, the main baddie that you have to take down in the game. And you'll find out more about the game as we go through with the review. So I'll just show you the size right here. It's published by Parker Games. Legend of Zagor, the 3D fighting fantasy game. By the way, this game is this was created by Ian Livingstone of the fighting fantasy books. If you guys are familiar with that, Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson. They're both very prolific game designers, and the artwork I believe is done by Martin McKenna, but the main cover art. And there's other bits and pieces that Ian Livingstone has also done. So we're gonna check out the sides right now. The sides of the board game, pretty decent. I like the sides. Pretty big board. The size is quite large compared to other board games. And I come from a country where it's really hard to find Settlers of Catan, so I consider myself really lucky that I found such an obscure board game at a flea market. And let's just turn this around. Check out the sides. All of them, all four sides. Yeah, there we go. Pretty sweet, pretty awesome. So I'm going to be unboxing this in a bit, but for that I'll have to move it to my little game table that my talented wife painted for me. You can see I like to use this table for all my board game sessions. So yeah, let's do the unboxing now. So yeah, let's see what's inside of this box. The artwork is pretty cool. The box is very attractive, very appealing, and it's a role-playing game. To start off with, it's a mix between a role-playing game and a dungeon crawler. And yeah, that's all you need to know for now. It's a role-playing game, role-playing dungeon crawling hybrid game. And let's open this up. So yeah, as soon as I'll open the box, you'll notice that all the things are pretty neatly arranged. I did this. I had to arrange all of this when I got the board game from the flea market. When I brought it home, it was all everything was just scattered around in there. It was almost like someone used it and just dumped everything inside the box and just never the box never saw the light of day again. And then it somehow shipped here. I don't know how, but it shipped here at the flea market. That's how most things end up in flea markets, like retro gadgets and stuff like that. So I had to like rearrange everything. I had to organize everything in the right positions. So yeah, as you can see, there's a manual, there's a rule book, and you've got the rule book right here. And yeah, it's got all the rules of how to play the game. It's pretty sweet. And I'm actually surprised that I found myself a really obscure board game with everything in it. Not a single piece is missing. Of course, there's a few pieces broken here and there, but nothing you can't fix. So, and these are the tile descriptions. You'll see what these tiles will mean in a bit as soon as I arrange this. It takes quite a while to arrange the board. It takes at least 15 to 20 minutes. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes to arrange the board. So as you can see, these are all your character sheets. Of course, it's an RPG game, so you can expect something like this in an RPG board game. You've got these character sheets. You've got the wizard. You've got the barbarian, each with their own stats. Well, not exactly. The stats aren't too complicated. It's the way each character differs from each other is the price of all the items are different for each character. So that's how the characters differentiate themselves. Here's a dwarf character sheet, and here's a warrior character sheet. So you've got 4 characters that you can choose from, and yeah, this here is the game layout, or whatever you want to call it, the base, the dungeon. So you've got like a level 1 dungeon, then you've got a level 2 dungeon, and then this is the final dungeon, which is basically a throne room. And remember what the box said? It said this is a 3D fighting fantasy game with a computer voice. The computer voice is basically this throne room right here. It'll make more sense once I set up the board. So yeah, so what happens is most RPG games such as Dungeons and Dragons, very popular game, people know about it, have a game master who is a human. It's not an NPC, he's a human character, and he's in charge of guiding players through his version of the game, whatever it might be. But the best thing about this board game is that there is no human dungeon game master. There's a computer chip inside of this little throne room, and you can see all the little buttons here, and each of these buttons do a different each of these buttons have a different function to them. And I'm going to be adding some batteries in there to get this going. And another thing, by chance this worked. So it's from 1995, you can imagine. It never published again after 1995, so this is ancient. Like, let me tell you, this is like 25 years old, if my calculations are correct. It's a really old board game. I had to rearrange everything. I had to do a count of everything, the tokens, the tiles, the cards, and everything. Yeah, let me just arrange the board for you guys so you'll have a better idea of how this thing turns out. So as you can see, I'm arranging the board right now. There's a lot of cool set pieces here that are not really required to play the game, but they still make it look pretty cool. It actually makes it look like a really foreboding dungeon, a very dangerous place for our heroes to tread. You've got the level 1 dungeon here, level 2, and then you've got Zagor. So I'm gonna start arranging. This is a dragon. Yeah, a few of the pieces are broken. For example, this dragon, you have to fight a dragon before you can get to Zagor. The dragon goes somewhere around here. And this here is the little Zagor figurine, pretty fine and detailed. And then got all the other monster figurines that I'll show you in a bit once I've arranged them all out. And yeah, so I'm gonna start arranging it now. So yeah, I've got the board somewhat arranged. As you can see, it's got these really nicely detailed little figurines, little pieces here that represent the monsters that we're going to be battling, and they're very nice, very detailed, and they're of very high quality. As you can see, they're not painted, but you can always paint them. I mean, there's this guy who's done a video on YouTube about this game in which he's painted all the figurines, and they look pretty awesome. So I myself don't really have the time to paint every one of them, so I just think they look cool as they are. You can see right here, it's like an orcish looking figure. So you've got all your monsters each, and then you can see these rooms here. Every room has a monster in it. You're supposed to go from one room to the next, defeating monsters and getting more stronger and stronger until you feel like you're strong enough to go to Zagor's lair. Zagor is probably right here. Yeah, he's right there. You go to Zagor's lair, and then you try to defeat Zagor, and the first one to defeat the final boss wins. But before you defeat Zagor, you have to deal with his dragon right here, and he's really tough. He's only second to Zagor. It's that tough. And then you've got the level 1 monsters here. They're, not that difficult, but they're in a larger number than the level 2 monsters because they're quite tough to beat. And then you have a little merchant here. This little merchant you see right here, you can go to him every time, and you can buy items from him, buy different items like armor, weapons, and stuff like that to make yourself stronger through the game. And then we have our little heroes here. Our heroes, we've got the barbarian, and we've got our little dwarf, And we've got the wizard. Unfortunately, his staff broke. Not my fault. This is how it came in the box. Like I said, this is a used board game. It's not brand new, and I doubt you can find a brand new Legend of Zagor board game out there anyway. And this here's your warrior, I think. Yeah, it's a warrior. So, and you can see these little stepping stones, or whatever you want to call them, these little tiles. These stepping stones, or stepping squares, or whatever you want to call them. So the way this works is you've got these tiles here, like this, and underneath each tile is a certain object or a certain trap or whatever. For example, this one has elbow boots under it. This one has a trap door in it. You can use trap doors to make shortcuts to different places in the dungeon. So what you do is you basically start placing all these tiles. Yeah, it takes a while to get this board set up, but you start placing all the tiles until all the squares have been covered up, like so. I'm just gonna do a few to show you how this works. And there we go, there's one tile, and there's the other tile. Got these tiles going on. It's supposed to be randomly placed, and it makes for an interesting game, because you never know what is coming, because all these tiles are randomized and they have random patterns on them and stuff. So I'll just do this portion right here. I'm not gonna go all the way over there because there's no point, and I want to make this video as concise as possible. So you got your tiles here, just a few more, and then we'll start off with the demo, in which I'll show you how the game mechanics work. And dropped a little minion right there. There we go. Okay, so let's just say I want to be a warrior. Is fine. Yeah, I'll just be a warrior, whatever the first sheet is. And I'm a warrior right here. You need a really big table for this game. As you can see, the arrangement, I mean, it's almost like falling off the edge, all the pieces. So it took me quite a while to just get them to stay together. And yeah, so for instance, I am a warrior. All right, I'll just keep my sheet down here, and you've got these treasure cards right here, these treasure cards, and you've got treasure cards, and you've got, hold on a sec, get this right, and you've got, along with your treasure cards, you have there we go. Sorry about that. So you've got your magic cards right here, and you've got your treasure cards. So I'll just show you what these cards mean in just a sec. So basically what happens is every time you defeat a monster, for example, okay, since I chose a warrior, I'm a warrior, I'm gonna take my warrior piece here. Yeah, this is a warrior, and I'm gonna place him in any of the 4 starting positions. They could either be this one, this one, this one, or this one. So I'll just start off here because it's closest to the camera. And each player goes turn by turn, and you can move either 1 step or 2 steps. So for instance, if it's my turn, I can move 1 step into the monsters, this room right here. And as soon as I enter this room, and if I see a monster standing upright, that means I have to fight that monster. And to fight that monster, we're going to use Zagor's throne room with all the buttons in it. And I'll just show you how it's done. Let me just put the batteries in there. Hold on a sec. Alright, so I'm inserting the last battery in there. It requires 4 AA batteries. The weird thing about this is it's kind of like a major design flaw in this game, is that there is no on and off button. As soon as you insert all the batteries, it just goes on. And in order to turn it off, you have to, well, take out the batteries. That's all you can do. Otherwise, it just stays on all the time. Which is weird, because a simple on and off switch would have been really useful here. But I guess we'll have to make do with whatever we've got. So I'm inserting the last battery in there. There we go. So, this is how it starts. We've got the game master running. Basically, Zagor is up and running, and the game is on its way. And basically, he's asking us, who is it that's playing this game? Who's in this adventure? And I'll just show you what these little. Let me just put the stuff back in its right place. There. And Zagor, and this. Oh, I forgot his little throne. His evil-looking throne. It's pretty neat, actually. Pretty finely detailed. And there's the lid. Don't need to cover the lid for now. The dragon goes back into its place. And yeah, so we're all set up. It's up and running, and we can start our first game. By the way, there's a few tokens that I placed on the character sheet. You'll notice here it says stamina, strength for our hero, for the character that we're playing, role-playing. And then we've got the monster section here. And then you've got a bunch of different things over here, like item equipments and all that stuff, magical items, other things. And you can see the control keys here. It basically tells you what key, it tells you the corresponding keys and what they do. For example, there's the dwarf symbol, the barbarian symbol, and all that stuff. So we're gonna start the game over. We're gonna press the key to start it again. There.
Who dares challenge me?
And since we are the warrior button is this one. So there we go.
Warrior!
So warrior's in the game now. And now we wait for Zagor to acknowledge us.
Warrior, begin.
So now we begin our game. So I'm going to place my warrior back to his starting position. And let's just say I want to move 2 tiles ahead up there, okay? And an interesting thing about this game is that Zagor keeps tabs on each hero. For example, if there's a hero out there that's not confronting too many monsters, Zagor is going to punish him. And if you're the kind of hero that is going left and right beating monsters, Zagor is going to reward you for it. So it has this little random factor in it that makes the game a little unpredictable, which is good because you don't want to make the game too predictable. And so since I moved 2 steps over there, I will turn over this tile. Yeah, you got cool special effects going on, the sound effects going in the background here. So I picked up this tile and it says teleport. It says move to any other square on this level. So you can already see how this works. Now this tile has to be discarded. It doesn't go back onto the board. Now I have the option to move anywhere on the board. So let's just say I move here. Okay. And I get to pick up this tile again. Sorry, oh shit, I dropped that. There we go. So I have elven boots. That's cool because with elven boots you have the option to move up to 3 tiles instead of just 2. So I'm going to place this on my character sheet right where it says elven boots. By the way, this isn't the token that you're supposed to put in your character sheet. I'm not going to go through every little token just to find the right one. So I'm just going to use this tile for now as a character token, as an item token. So now we're done. Since we're the only ones, by the way, you can solo play this game as well, which is what I'm doing right now, and it's kind of fun playing solo as well. So yeah, anyway, so there we go. And now I'm going to move into this room, and I'm fighting a level 1 monster. In order to fight a level 1 monster, I have to hit the level 1 monster button, which also happens to be the dwarf button. So as soon as I'll hit that button, fighting's going to commence.
Who dares challenge me?
It's the warrior.
Warrior, prepare to die.
So the way this works is Zagor is going to call out random numbers. He's going to call out the monster's strength and stamina.
Prepare for battle.
You listen.
There is danger here. Strength 2.
So the monster has strength 2.